Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook, and Temple of Balance cards, and share some guidance for this week ahead. That's this week starting Wednesday the 16th of November through to Tuesday the 22nd of November 2022. So while you're coming in and over and seeing that I'm live, I want to send out an extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So I'm coming to you live from the middle of Tasmania. That's the island at the bottom of Australia. We are a part of Australia. I have some people message me and think that Tasmania is not a part of Australia for some reason, but we are a state, an island state of Tasmania, of Australia, right in the south part of the country. And currently it is Wednesday the 16th of November here, and it's exactly 11:02 a.m. So we're in the middle of this heart-shaped island, and yeah, I'm very excited about the cards for today. So last week's theme card was the Sea Eagle, and the Sea Eagle is about reconnection. Do we have an issue? Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know, guys. Well, I suppose if you can't hear me, you can't hear me saying that. So let me know if you can hear me okay. So last week's theme was the Sea Eagle, which talked about reconnection as our theme last week. So did you find yourself reconnecting with yourself, reconnecting with people, reconnecting with others, perhaps, or reconnecting with your life's path, with your life's purpose, reconnecting with your goals, reconnecting with the things that are important for you? So what did you reconnect to last week? Welcome. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Aletha. Welcome. I hope and trust everyone can hear me. Thanks, Jacoba. Hi, Annie. Wonderful. All right, let's get straight into it. I am shuffling my cards, and I'm asking the cards to show us what we need to know, the majority of us, what we need to know for this week ahead, starting Wednesday the 16th till Tuesday the 22nd of November 2022. So the best cards will find their way to the top of the deck based on the way I choose my cards. Thanks so much. Hi, Tina and Wendy. Great. Annie, thank you. Okay, so the best cards for the 16th to the 22nd of November 2022 for the majority of us are these. Okay, we're going to lay them in a square. 2 on top, 2 on the right, 2 on the bottom, and 2 on the left. Okay, 3 Speed of Light, 5 Animal Kingdom Oracle cards. Let's turn the cards over. Yeah, okay, so it's probably something from your end there, Edna. Not that you can hear me because you can't hear anything here. Okay, so what have we got? Oh, we do have a dragon, so give me your dragon predictions. So dragons, earth, air, fire, water, spirit. So give me your feeling on which dragon has come up. And I'll be talking about that much later because it's the last card in the deck here. So hopefully I'm not freezing. So we've got one featured card. It's the White Tiger, and it has further instructions here which say to split the deck and take the top card. So I'm splitting the deck here and grabbing this card to go with the tiger. Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks for your guesses of the dragon. Keep them coming. All right, let's start. We've got a full-on week, it feels, this week. We're starting the week still in initiation mode. This started a couple of days before the 11th of November, so last Friday. In fact, we could almost say the last probably 5 or 6 days has been very much a focus for many of us around initiation. So initiation to me is a bit like a rite of passage, an upgrade of sorts, a moving to the next level. Sometimes the initiations are subtle and we might notice sort of small changes in our attitude or behavior, or what used to trigger us doesn't trigger us anymore. So they can be quite subtle and very deep under the surface changes that happen. But a lot of us at the moment are probably noticing quite physical, outward kind of changes and upgrades and rites of passages, which can bring with them tests, preparing to take us to the next level and to show us that we're capable and able to be able to go to that next level. You know, often the rites of passage, the initiation gateways, are guarded by wise wisdom keepers who guard the gate to make sure and test us to see if we are actually ready to be able to advance to the next level. So it's a bit like sitting the exam at school. We're tested throughout the year, we're learning throughout the year, and then at the end of the year we're examinated to see if we really know our stuff that we've been learning throughout the year so that we can advance to the next level. If we don't pass, then we go back and learn. And so it doesn't matter. We don't have to pass the test, but it's always nice if we do. So this is a period of initiation. You might find yourself tested. You might find big things happening and big things that you're facing. And if you look at them from an initiation perspective, it might help you see how deep and how important, how powerful what you're going through is over these last few days. But this is still present for Wednesday. Now, moving to Thursday, the 17th of November, we have the Giraffe, and the Giraffe is card 33, and it says to look at things differently. So this is a perspective shift on Thursday, and we might find things start appearing differently or appearing in a new and changed way based on the changes that we have experienced within ourselves. So as we change, the way we see things changes. So allow your perspective to shift on things, especially if you've had tunnel vision on things lately, and perhaps there's an aspect of your life that seems like it's not really going anywhere, or it's stuck, or it's stagnant, or why does this sort of thing continue to happen to me? These types of thoughts or words that you might say might be quite typical with this energy. So look at it from other angles, other perspectives, other viewpoints, so that you can see more of the bigger picture and understand on a bigger level, a wider scale, what's potentially happening here. So we're being guided to look at things differently on Thursday. Be careful we don't have tunnel vision. Now, Friday, the 18th of November, we've got these two cards for Friday, the Owl and Scattered. So we'll look at the Owl first. Welcome, everybody. Looks like the video's certainly been suppressed, but it's good that at least some of you are here, so thank you for being here. So for Friday the 18th, we've got card 49, the Masked Owl. And the Masked Owl says to be optimistic. So this is about staying optimistic, staying hopeful, especially on Friday. Friday is not the time to give up. It's not the time to fall really in a heap. Don't know why I added really in there, but Friday's not the day to fall in a heap. Friday's the day to pick ourselves up, to keep going and to stay optimistic as best as we can, to stay tuned in and in some ways observe. Maybe if things are falling apart for you, especially by the time you get to Friday, you might be too involved in the nitty-gritty stuff that maybe not really that important in the grand scheme of things. So there is a feeling here of sort of stepping back and observing a little bit more instead of being deeply involved. Now, this is not the case with everything, but in general, it feels that if we can sort of step back a little bit, give ourselves a bit of room in those tricky situations, whether it is take a break, whether it is stepping away, whether it is saying, look, you're going to have to figure this out yourself if it's someone else's problem, for example. There might be some need to step back so we're not in it as much, especially on Friday, whether it's for a temporary break or whether it's just a decision that we have to make in regards to the particular situation. So let's stay optimistic, but also step back and observe a bit on Friday. And also on Friday, we've got the Scattered card, card 13. It says overwhelm, confusion, concentrate, and plan. So this is unruly, wild, primal, creative energy that's coming in. It's coming into our life, and it's disruptive. It disrupts things. It disrupts us from our comfort zone. It pushes us out of that comfort zone. It, in some ways, prompts us to take a risk and follow our heart. And we might doubt that. We might question it. We might be scared or fearful of it too, because this energy, it has no bounds. But what it does want to do is it wants to push us into new territory, new experiences, to meet new people and see and show ourselves what we are actually capable of. So it brings with it challenge. It brings with it, almost pulling the rug out from under us when we think things are pretty stable and pretty steady. We might have the rug kind of pulled out. We might find ourselves flat on our face for a bit, and we've got to figure out how to get up and how to work our way through that particular challenge. And it feels exciting. It feels enticing in some ways. If we resist it constantly, then it's going to be difficult to have the rug pulled out, because we're trying to keep things so ordered and so non-eventful perhaps. So if you're thirsty for a challenge like I am, this might be just part of your everyday life, like it is for me. If you tend to avoid such things, then you might find the rug pulled out. It might be quite uncomfortable. But what the purpose of this is it's to pull us or push us into new territory, new experiences, to really push us further as an individual. So there is a creative element to this card. There is a destructive element to it too, but also very constructive. So what we've been encouraged to do while these winds are sort of stirring things up and it feels scattered and uncomfortable, we've been encouraged just to get through our day, create a doable plan if we can, and concentrate on the things that we are doing. So there are especially the energies for Friday. Being optimistic and then dealing with this kind of windy, chaotic energy that feels a bit all over the place, but there is order to the chaos, is the feeling. Hi Janice, and hello everybody. Okay, we move to the weekend. The weekend feels interesting. We have this card for Saturday. It's the cockatoo, actually, not the kookaburra. We've got a kookaburra bird in training nearby for the last couple of weeks. So it just does the start of a kookaburra laugh, and then it stops. And then a couple of days later, you hear it doing the start, and then it stops. It's a bit like a rooster in training. And when the rooster's practicing to cock-a-doodle-doo, he does all sorts of weird noises. So that's interesting. So what are you training in? What are you training for in regards to your life? And it may be especially connected with social situations, dealing with other people, or a communication, expressing yourself. Are you warming up for something? Are you kind of like the kookaburra or the rooster in training, where maybe the words aren't coming out as well as what you hoped? But you're in training, so you're working out the best language to use or the best words to use in this particular situation. And it's funny because as we take on different roles, as our positions change, there are languages, certain words that tend to be used around in those different fields, if you like, or aspects. So sometimes we've got to train ourselves to use the lingo of the whatever it is that we're stepping into. So that I find very interesting. It's card 47, the cockatoo, and it says to be compromising or to find a compromise. There might be a situation where you're butting heads or things feel like they're not quite feeling right. So you might find a compromise is needed somehow. So maybe an apology or something to resolve, or a compromise where hopefully both parties can, if there's two parties involved, can find a common ground somehow. But I'm very much strongly drawn to this being in training, communication, social situation, training ourselves somehow. So let's not be too hard on ourselves as well, and be at peace, be patient with ourselves as we're learning and being trained how to cock-a-doodle-doo, or how to laugh like a kookaburra, or how to say the words or speak the language that we are needing to speak around this time period. So that's interesting, the cockatoo. Now, on Sunday, we have the Sunday, the 20th of November, we have the Raven. The Raven is card 17, and it says to face your shadow with honesty. So your shadow can be represented by your fear, by your anxieties, by the things that trigger you, the things that confront you. It could be that deep, mysterious place inside you that you are thirsty for understand, or thirsty to understand, you know, to get to know things better, to find purpose and meaning and direction, and to tap into that inner wisdom. It is a mysterious, deep, shadowy energy. And a lot of us have been pulled into that. I mean, I've personally been pulled into it ever since, well, often, but very specifically and powerfully since the 11th of the 11th, so since last Friday. So I feel a very deep pull and enticement and thirst to go into those deep, dark places inside me in my life. And I've been asking myself things like, what is my biggest weakness? What is my biggest distraction right now? And asking myself these big questions. And even though I don't know the answer immediately, because I just don't. I'm feeling on it over the days to follow, to feel upon, okay, what is my biggest weakness right now? What is my biggest distraction at this time? And I really love exploring that stuff because it helps me get to know myself and where my strengths are and also where my weaknesses are, so that I can work with those to hopefully strengthen them or release them or whatever I might need to do. So on Sunday, there's this shadowy energy potentially present, especially if we've been avoiding it. If you've been avoiding or denying or ignoring your shadow, your fear, your insecurities, your confrontations, your triggers, your anxieties, your limitations, if you've been ignoring and really resisting that in these last few weeks, or probably even this last month or so, then you might find a bit of a test that comes up on Sunday that might really test you in that level, or on that level in that way. So don't be afraid of your shadow and what that has to offer you and what that has to help teach you about yourself. So face it as honestly as you can. If you feel stagnant or stuck, often it's because we're not listening to how we feel as we're moving through difficult times or difficult situations or difficult feelings. So if you also find yourself stuck and stagnant, there might be a connection here as well to find some time to look deeply into yourself. So how would you do that? How do I do that? I do that through journal writing and sitting with myself, asking myself questions in my journal and feeling for the answers quietly. I don't need to say anything. I can write. I'm happy to do that. Sometimes I explore that deep, shadowy energy through creating. Often I need to dive into it by confronting the things that are uncomfortable for me, the things that agitate or irritate me at the time or trigger me. I look into those. I don't turn the other way. I look and go, okay, why is that triggering me? Why do I feel this way? Why is this frustrating me? So I ask myself the question and I dive in. I genuinely want to know myself. And the best way for me to know myself is to understand all those uncomfortable things too. It's almost like bringing the formless into form or bringing the light into the darkness. So facing these parts of ourselves honestly really is the key. We can keep ignoring it and we can keep running the other way, but the shadow's just going to get louder. We all know what it's like when our fear gets louder and louder the more we ignore it. Or issues that we hold get louder and louder the more that we ignore it. So we can turn the other way if we want to continue to suffer. Or we can face it, and we can face it head on. And remember, in the last video, I talked about holding your sword of truth, holding your shield of protection. So instead of dropping those things and walking away from that triggers you, you could arm yourself with your shield of protection, your sword of truth, and face that which is difficult in your life. And really see what it has to offer and teach you, because it's not going to go away. It's just going to keep following you, and it's going to keep getting louder and louder every time you run away in the opposite direction. So maybe on Sunday is also an opportunity for us to really look at our shadow and look at our fear, look at our limitations and resistances, to look at our triggers and the things that are challenging us at this time, and ask ourselves why. Why do we feel this way? And what can we do about it? And we might be pleasantly surprised that we have the power and the means and the tools to face this and to conquer it and to overcome. And that is really personally rewarding. I recently listened to a podcast where it was talked about, the ending is not the death kind of part. The ending is the resurrection. It's the rebirth. It's that breakthrough out of the shadow and out of the darkness and out of the difficulty, where we break through it and the sun shines again for us in our life. That is kind of the ending, or that closure in some ways of that cycle, and then we begin again. So the ending is not the suffering. The ending is the rebirth. It's the resurrection. It's the moving out. It's the breakthrough. So it really is up to us. So Sunday feels to be a potentially potent day, especially if we've been resisting our shadow energy. Okay, so we're almost at the dragon. If you joined in, we do have a dragon. It's still to come. And it's not coming yet, because we're talking about Monday, the 21st of November. And we have these two cards for Monday. I really love this card, the White Tiger. So it's come up with the butterfly for a reason. We're going to look at them separately, and then we're going to look at their relationship together. The White Tiger is card 48, and it says schedule, routine, adjustment, and management. This is about looking at how we spend our time. It's also about looking at our priorities on Monday. So as we change, and we've been through a massive change growth cycle in these last few weeks, as we change, as our behavior and attitude and things like that change, our priorities change. And when our priorities change, it also potentially, or should, cause a change to our schedule and our routine and how we spend our time and what's priority for us now. So it might be important for some of us, especially around Monday, but maybe Sunday, for us to sit down and make a priority list. What are our current priorities that are important to us in our mind? And what are our actual priorities? What are we actually spending time doing? And are these matching up? Because usually I find I have around 10 things that are my priority. And these are the things I want to be my priority. These are, top. This is the order of the priority I want right now. But this is the reality of what is actually priority, what is taking up the most time. And some things sync up, some things are out of whack. So it's a real eye-opener for me when I do that, to see, okay, where is my energy at right now, and where do I want it to be, kind of thing, in regards to priority and how I'm spending my time. So then I can make some adjustments to maybe tap something down off the list to get what I want to be priority up to the top. So it's good to reflect on that every couple of months. I probably do every month or two, just to see and make sure things are aligned up for me on how I spend my time. We can waste a lot of time. We can procrastinate a lot and waste time doing that too. This is very much about, okay, let's look at how we're spending our time, especially Monday, and what adjustments do we need to make room for other things, or make room for other things that are important, or let go of the things from our schedule that aren't important to us anymore. And it comes up with this card, the butterfly, card 6. And the butterfly says heart opening, passion, freedom, and action. So this is about action, passion. It's about moving from our heart. There is little grounding in this card. So there's a lot of dreamy idea, fantasy kind of energy here. What if this, what if that? Dreaming of new places, dreaming of new things, dreaming of learning something new, or whatever it might be. But it feels very dreamy, and it feels like it also sits very strongly in the heart, and that it's important to have these dreamy kind of ideas and aspirations that sweep over us from time to time. I like to have them, but in balance with the practicality of life. So I don't like to be too pie in the sky with things, but I do like to have or be open to ideas and being inspired and have goals and things like that. But I do like to really anchor these things into the practical, real world. So action as well here. So in regards to these two cards together, what do you need to make time for in regards to your passions, the things that are important to you, maybe bringing some new things into your life, because this is how they're born. New things are born through our ideas and inspirations and our daydreaming and these types of things. That's how we bring the new in. It's very difficult, not impossible, to bring new in if we're not thinking outside the box or dreaming new dreams or having new ideas. So have you become a bit stifled in your creativity or stifled in your ideas of late, recently? And maybe there's something where you can consider making time to maybe set a goal list, maybe for 2023, maybe to explore some ideas that you've got that you've had on the sort of back burner for a little bit. Is there anything that you can come to and really make time for that can potentially help open up some new doors for you moving forward? So there are our cards for Monday. And now the dragon for Tuesday, the 22nd of November, 2022. 2211222022. And we've got card 26, the spirit dragon. This, yes, a vision board. Great idea, Michelle. The spirit dragon's the highest vibrating card in the whole deck of 110 cards. So it's card 26 and it says heightened energy. This is a heightened energy. This is having the Midas touch. This is a heightened state potentially on Tuesday for us to connect with, for us to, really do whatever it is that our heart desires. That is strong, that feels powerful for us. This is a great time too to connect with our loved ones in spirit. And it is a great time to dream new dreams and really align further with the spirit world and whatever that might mean for us. And I'm really drawn to the words, the center of all things. And what is the center of all things for you? So that could be an interesting one to explore. What is the center of all things for you? So the spirit dragon, a very uplifting end to the week. A great time too, especially being the 22nd of the 11th month, to maybe do some meditation or some spiritual dedication, maybe some healing time, something to help you shift and connect, because it feels like we could probably make a lot of progress on Tuesday. So let's put our mind to it. Let's not procrastinate, and let's work with the energy as it sweeps in. So there are cards for this week. Thank you so much. Have a great, great week ahead. I am going to pull some cards, or a card actually, unless it's a featured card. I'm going to pull one card for the theme for this week ahead. So I'll do that in a second. Before I do, I want to thank you very, very much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. Please hit the follow or subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, the follow button. If you're on YouTube, the subscribe button. If you want to see more of what I do in the future. And if you'd prefer to reach out more privately, then please send us a message through our website. So, okay, Healing Energy Cards update. So my Healing Energy Cards, the upgrade of the first original deck. And then the brand new Healing Energy Cards number 2. So I've got 2 decks currently at the printers. And we have approved the digital proofs last week. So printing, as far as I know, should be underway. And I'm thinking we will hear that printing is done or close to being done in the next few weeks. Once the printing is done, then pre-orders will open. And the decks, I can give you a better date in a couple of weeks, but the deck should be here maybe January, February 2023, ready for shipping out. So that's very exciting. In the meantime, you can grab Both of these decks I've used today, the Animal Kingdom and the Speed of Light Oracle cards, are available on my website now. So you can check those out if you want to work with the cards yourself. I've completely created them. So please have a look. And if you want to learn more about me and the work I do here at Temple of Balance, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Our next online art class and card reading club for December is on the 16th of December, in a month. And our theme for both of those is closure. So we'll be looking at closing the door of 2022 and also closing the door on things that we've long held on to beyond 2022. So old stuff too. So the tickets and registrations have opened for those if you want to check it out. So let's now grab our theme card. The theme card will help bring these days together and help us see the bigger picture for this week ahead. So I'm looking for the best theme card for the majority of us from the 16th till the 22nd of November 2022. So the best theme card for this week is, it's this. Speed of Light Oracle, doesn't matter if it's upside down. It's this. The Eagle's Nest card 14. And it says down here, it says preparation, home, waiting, and soon. We actually haven't had this card come up for a little while now. It talks about changes in the home. So you might be undergoing some renovations, changing, moving house, people coming and going, like someone moving in, someone moving out. There are probably changes in the home that are happening at the moment for the majority of us for this week. This is also talking about our time of waiting will be over soon. So if you find yourself pretty much constantly waiting at the moment and you're having to really be patient and your patience is being tested, then this is kind of a reassurance in some ways that your time of waiting will be over soon. So keep going, keep doing little bits at a time, keep maybe doing other things, tying up loose ends while you're waiting if that suits the situation. And it also says that this is a time of preparation. So what are you preparing for this week? What are you preparing for? Are you preparing for something like a new job or a home or a change in relationship? Are you preparing for something that you know is coming? Maybe you're preparing for something a bit different. Maybe you're preparing to find yourself. Maybe you're preparing to shift out of your shadow and your fear and living mostly that way and preparing to move into a calmer, more stable state. Maybe you're preparing to shift your schedule and your routine and how you spend your time. Maybe you're preparing to move house. What are you preparing for at this time? Are you preparing to close the door on 2022? Start today if you are. Are you preparing to start something new in 2023? What are you preparing for? Yeah, what are we preparing for? I'm going to explore that in my journal because I can't easily answer that off the top of my head. I'd really need to give this some thought because it feels deep. There's something about it that really draws me. What am I preparing for? I'd really like to know. So the best way to find out is for me to sit with that question myself, in my body, in my heart, with my mind, with my breath, with my journal. I can use my cards to support and guide and give me perspective if I need it. But I want to really sit with that question. What am I preparing for? And then am I actively doing that, whatever I discover? And it's not up to anyone else to tell me what it is that it might be. I need to discover this myself. And this is very much the energy around at the moment. Is going into those depths and figuring things out for ourselves. It's energy shifting in the throat too. It feels like a lot of truth is stirring here. And it might be a new way for some of you maybe to interact with yourself. Maybe you tend to rely on other people to give you the answers that you're looking for. But I want to really encourage you to ask yourself the questions and really feel for the answers this week. And maybe start with that question. What are you preparing for? Your answer may be nothing. You might decide and determine based on some contemplation and exploration that you're preparing for nothing. And that's fine. It doesn't make the question wrong because it's actually presented clarity to you that, okay, I'm preparing for nothing. Things are pretty good right now. Maybe it reveals something to you that you didn't realize before. It doesn't matter what the answer is. It's the finding of whatever that answer is and determining the truth of that for ourselves. So this is the deep energy around at the moment, and it's enticing and it's pulling and it's tugging on us, and it's very difficult to avoid, but we can avoid it. But, let's just step a little bit forward this week into that deep energy. So our theme, Eagle's Nest, see how that resonates with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy birthday if you're celebrating. Happy anniversary if you're celebrating that. And thank you. Have a fantastic week. I'll be back to share with you again very, very soon. Take care of yourself and sending you lots of love. Bye.